Now, to discuss these attacks, joining me live on the program is Bulama Bukati, a Nigerian human rights lawyer and a security analyst. Many thanks for joining us on the program, Mr. Bukati. Now, this attack comes a day after, or 2 days after, 23 girls were abducted in the northeastern part of the country. Are the assailants the same or are they different?
No, the assailants are not the same. The girls were abducted in the northwestern part of Nigeria in Kebbi State. And this specific attack on the church happened about 600 kilometers from where the girls were abducted. Even before then, on Friday, there was another attack in the northeast about 1,000 kilometers from the scene of the abduction of the girls, in which a military general was killed and several security forces personnel lost their lives. What these attacks show us is the multifaceted nature of the challenge in Nigeria's insecurity. In one place, you have a church being attacked, you have a school, and you have a military convoy being ambushed. Now, what is happening is that these groups are exploiting state weakness. They are exploiting weak security response, and they are exploiting weak policing system in Nigeria. And unfortunately, that is continuing to take lives and livelihoods, and millions of Nigerians are currently displaced in our country.
Now, if we look at different parts of Nigeria that tackle different aspects of insecurity, most of these places, eyewitnesses would say that there was some sort of intelligence. Now, if you look at this particular attack, was the intelligence not acted up upon early enough for this attack to be prevented?
You see, in the northwest, where the girls were abducted, it is normally criminal gangs, locally called bandits, that are wreaking havoc. In the north-central Nigeria, in Kwara State, it is likely a terrorist group reportedly affiliated to Boko Haram, while in the northeast, it is a violent extremist group called Boko Haram and Islamic State West Africa Province, which is allied to ISIS, which is claiming to fight for Islam. Now, the problem in Nigeria has not been lack of information. It has always been lack of capacity and coordination to act. Villages and communities usually give information, but the state capacity to respond is very low in terms of very few personnel, slow or lack of mobility, of poor mobility, and slow response reinforcement times on the part of the security forces. Also, these groups are operating in jungles and they operate on motorcycles. They are fast, they are coordinated, while the Nigerian army is overstretched and is still using heavy military equipment into jungles that do not have access roads. And so these are some of the challenges. It is not lack of information, it is not lack of intelligence in many of these cases, it is lack of capacity and coordination to act immediately or on time.
But Mr. Bukati, you've talked about the lack of capacity that the Nigerian government is facing in tackling insecurity. But we've seen various governments, including the US, supporting the country by getting them equipment, training the staff. Is it that not enough, or is there a need to have a regional approach, especially in the West African part of the continent, to tackle insecurity not only in Nigeria but across the Sahel?
Yes, there have been support from the US, from the UK, from the European Union and other Nigerian partners, but it's not enough. Also, most of the international support goes to northeastern Nigeria, where Boko Haram and Islamic State West Africa Province are operating. In terms of the US, for example, they specifically forbade the Nigerian government, they prohibited the Nigerian government from using their weapons, the Super Tucano they sold to Nigeria, in attacking the bandits, because they didn't see the bandits as terrorists or as a religiously motivated group. And the bandits are the ones very likely responsible for the abduction of the girls. And so, yes, there is the response. There is the support from the international community is not enough and is restricted to the northeast. But like you said, Nigeria also needs to do better in cooperating with our neighbors, especially after the military coup in Niger. There has been weakening relationship between Nigeria and Niger, and they need us in fighting their insecurity. We also need them in fighting ours.
Now, if you look at how the global places or the countries are interconnected, do you think then it's time that Nigeria would then say what it wants so that when these countries offer support, they would know where the weapons would go to or what the weapons would be used, especially in Nigeria's case?
Nigeria has been saying what it wants. In fact, it has been attempting to purchase what it wants. But some of these Western countries, including the United States, are trying to show Nigeria that they know better than Nigeria what Nigeria wants. And that, unfortunately, is impacting Nigeria's capacity to respond to some of these crises. I think Western governments need to do more in presuming good intent on the part of African leaders and also giving them what they ask for, not what the West determines.
All right, many thanks for joining us on the program. That's Bulama Bukati, a security analyst.